when I was a student, and I've talked to him, and he says he still has some jobs to give other students. Mr. Geoffrey Maina is the Senior Human Resource Specialist at Techno. Round of applause for Mr. Geoffrey Maina. Let us clap for him, mpaka afike hapa. Yes, Mr. Geoffrey Maina, he's my current HR. We appreciate you, sir. You could just have a seat over there. Our second panelist is a man who is widely educated. He did his undergrad at Rutgers. He went to Rochester. He went to University of Boston. Name them, every place you want to go. This man is not even a Kenyan, but he has a passion for Kenyans. He wants to help Kenyans. He wants to appreciate and to elevate the youth. This man, Mr. Gilbert Bonshu, who is the Executive Director at USAID. Round of applause for him. Hiyo clap ni ya kutaka job kweli. Thank you, sir. You can have a seat over there. Now, the third person is somebody who is also very special to the University of Nairobi. This man did not do his undergraduate here at the University of Nairobi. He went to Moi University. But this man has great passion for the University of Nairobi. Currently, he also sits as a board of directors as CIUON, and so we really appreciate your work at CIUON. This man is Martin Mwebwa, is an education support manager at ACCA. A round of applause for him. Hiyo clap imeisha na hajafika. Thank you, sir. Now the last person who has participated in the Huawei global competitions. Huawei global ICT competitions. Okay, who is doing computer science? Kuna watu wa computer science, statistics, economics. Nyinyi mnafanya course gani? Sawa sawa. So this man here is part of the team that organizes the Huawei global competition. That is one of the pilot programs that they are running as a company. He has a lot of experience in human resource in a global perspective. Mr. Matthew Kipto, the Kenya Human Resource Manager at Huawei, Southern Africa region. Mr. Matthew. Round of applause for Mr. Matthew. So this here will be our panelists today. We really appreciate you. We know you guys have a tight schedules, but you are put in time so that you could join us for this panel discussion. Asanteni sana. So just to start over, all right, I'm being guided here a little bit. Thank you. I'm being reminded that there are some panelists who have also joined us. Ms. Angela Mutuku from Unilever. Angela? Thank you so much. Let's clap for her. Any other panelist who is joined us? Thank you so much. You could just come over. Let us continue clapping for her as she comes. All right, so this will be our panelists here today. And one interesting conversation that we want to have with them is how many graduates leave university to go to the job market each year? And how many of these graduates are absorbed in the job market? And we want to understand what is the reason why other graduates do not find jobs. Now, people everywhere are talking about automation in the next few years. And we are asking ourselves, where will the other people go? What should they do so that they can be fit for the next revolution? Let me start from Mr. Geoffrey Maina.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, good afternoon. Okay, my name is Geoffrey Maina, as Peter has just mentioned. I'm a senior human resource specialist at Technomobile. I joined Technomobile in the year 2021, and it has been a beautiful journey, especially with a lot of partnerships with the University of Nairobi and other universities around. Personally, I believe in mentoring young people. Still, I count myself as one of the lucky ones, one of the lucky young people that I've gotten a forum where I'm able to talk to young people, mentor young people, and put them in a position where they can be able to navigate their future. I believe that young people, or rather there's something that I've always believed in, and is that young people know very little or do not know enough to be prudent, and therefore they attempt the impossible. And what happens if the young people attempt the impossible? Definitely they break the things that the people believe that they cannot be broken. So generation after generation, because of believing that they can be able to do anything, they are breaking records every now and then. So I'm very happy to be part of this panelist, and I feel that I'm here to learn, because looking at the people seated here, definitely they've been in the field for quite some time that I am. And I believe learning is what that is required. We have to learn, relearn, upskill. When you listen to the conversation that these guys are going to share, it's going to be circulating around one area, is that you need to be conversant with whatever is happening. You need to be self-aware. You need to position yourself in a position where if changes are happening tomorrow, will you be able to be flexible enough to adjust? So on my free time, I like learning. So I'd say I'm always looking at something that I can read, I can watch. You heard Caroline Mutuko said that YouTube is the biggest university currently that we have. So what are you watching on YouTube? So I don't want to take much time. It was just introduction. So thank you very much. And I'm hoping to have a very interactive session. Thank you very much.
Are you hiring today?
Sorry?
Are you hiring today?
Hiring. Definitely. Every time I come to University of Nairobi, I think I'm always hiring.
That's why you clap, guys.
And with that, I think, as Peter Nguka mentioned, we started his journey when he was still in third year. He's still our team member. The MC that was running with the show here, Cornelius, he's our recent recruit, came in after Nguka. So we are watching you. So just showcase what you have, and we have an opportunity for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gilbert.
Right, thank you. So my name is Gilbert Bonsu. I work for USAID as an executive officer. And what falls under this role is basically everything from IT, HR, procurement, real estate. So think of my role as basically a chief operating officer. We make sure that the USAID mission here in Kenya is running and running smoothly, so our implementing partners can do the good work that they are doing. A little bit about me before joining USAID. I work in the private sector as a consultant, and so I've done brand strategy, customer experience transformation, automation, you name it, multiple projects. I also previously was in the global development and the health sector. So I actually was a Peace Corps volunteer back in the day in South Africa. So I still keep a good tab in the health sector, and I do some projects of passion during my free time. But mostly just hanging out with my 2 little kids and my wife, and mentoring as well. I'm part of a lot of groups that do mentorship. And one of the big models that I believe in, and we say to each other, I have a group of friends, each one reach one, right? And so we always looking to extend a hand and help somebody else come up the way we're able to come up.
Thank you so much. A round of applause for him. Ama English imepita kidogo. So Mr. Gilbert is an executive director at USAID. Yes, Mr. Martin.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Martin Mwebia. I work with ACCA, that is the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, as Education Support Manager. And my work entails the whole suite of developing and deploying support resources for the more than 500,000 ACCA students across the world to enable them study for their ACCA qualification and pass, preferably at the first instance. So I've been working over the last 10 years, and all my roles have been around something to work with university students or students transitioning between between school and work. I do have a few volunteer opportunities that I do in my free time, including being an active member of CIUON, which is the Finance and Investment Students Association. I chair the board of advisors for that, and a few others. So in my free time, I volunteer. When I'm not volunteering, I'm probably exploring new places to visit and new dishes to eat. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Round of applause for him. Mr. Matthew, ni hao.
Ni hao. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. My name is Matthew Kipto, working for Huawei Technologies Kenya Company Limited as the hiring manager. I support Kenya, Mauritius, Madagascar, Comoros, and Somalia as the hiring manager. I haven't been there for long. He's been in the industry for 10 years. Mine is just 6 years, a little bit over 6 years. The reason I'm here today is because in 2018, when we hired the first management trainee, we got excellent graduates. They are now key members in the company, and we've not stopped coming to Nairobi University. I was a little bit heartbroken when he asked if there are any computer science students today, or electrical and electrical engineering. But anyway, last week or this week, we had already had our session with them. But still, we are looking forward to getting more talents from here. During my free time, I like sports mostly. I also try to coach some people in running. I like to run. I play soccer. I play table tennis. I think health is very key. You might have money, but without good health, I don't think you can do anything. So beside that, I watch documentaries, I watch some movies and all that. Thank you.
Sheshe. One thing about Mr. Matthew that is very fluent in Chinese, and will be telling us more about that later. Yes, Angelo?
Good afternoon. My name is Angela Mutuku. I am the HR business partner, experience maker, talent and culture catalyst at Unilever. One of the things that I love to do, particularly as my role as a talent catalyst, is coming to universities and speaking to the talent in this university, particularly University of Nairobi. Fantastic talent. Today I am dressed like one of you, hence why the MC was not able to identify me. I bring diversity in this panel. What I like to do in my free time, I am a writer. I love to read. I think in the month of May, from January to May, I've read 12 books so far. So I like to read, expand my mind, learn from different people, and share my insights. I have a newsletter on LinkedIn called Grow Getter. A couple of you interact with it. I see your comments. I see a couple of you DMing me on LinkedIn. I love to share, I love to learn, and I love to, sort of interact with young talent. Excited to be here and contribute to the panel.
Thank you so much, Angela. Yeah, I confirm that you are very active on LinkedIn. Remember, I followed you yesterday and you followed back. Thank you. Can they also follow you? Guys, you heard that? Follow her on LinkedIn.
Feel free, yes.
Angela Mutuku. Yes, Darren's.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Defense Mrunde. I'm the Virtual Learning and Community Engagement Manager. I support the Ajira Digital Program, and this is where the online work and remote work is coming in. So mostly I will be able to highlight what we do in the Ajira Digital Program and how we support remote workers, how we encourage online work participation, especially in Kenyan youth, and how we provide opportunities for them despite them being local, but also online work opportunities that are there. So we do that through our upskilling program, the Ajira Digital Program, and I'll be able to share more on that and how we can support you to start your freelancing journey. On my free time, I get to support in environmental activities. I do planting trees, and I support the UNEP program known as Plastic Titans program, which is a youth program that supports youth in terms of recycling and reusing plastic waste.
Thank you so much. A round of applause for her. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, our panelists. And again, we really appreciate your taking your time to be here today. So just a quick question. Perhaps you could just take up to a minute just to answer this. We want to understand the 21st century workforce, the career landscape is really changing. There's automation coming up, and we want to understand what are some of the skills that your companies are trying to train your workers so that they can be ready for this changing career landscape. We'll start from Mr. Geoffrey Maina.
Okay, thank you very much for that. We are looking at a very general transition, and you're talking of a lot of automation. And personally, from where I sit, I'm looking at how do you position yourself as a person. We are learning that things are changing. When the first session was going on, Madam Carol asked a question. He wanted to know how many people have interacted with ChatGPT. Unfortunately, the response was quite low. And from from looking at it from a general perspective, there has been that negative approach or towards the AI, or rather ChatGPT, AI in general. And it's just change. And in every organization, change comes, and how you position yourself depends with how you're going to come out when, as you mentioned, in 2027, we expect a major change. So at that 2027, where will you be, and how will you be conversant with the changes in technology? So at Techno, majorly, in as far as recruitment is concerned, generally we look at majorly the things that people overlook. You'll hear people talk of critical thinking. The Vice Chancellor mentioned about, let's say, people doing microbiology, people doing physics. How do you position yourself? Let me just give an example. I met a childhood friend who we went to campus together, and he did microbiology. And I met this person particularly around last month, and I was headed to work. And the condition I met the person was not the best of conditions, knowing that particularly this was an A scholar in high school, went ahead and did microbiology in Kenyatta University. But the current state he's living in at the moment, you will not have imagined at that time. So looking at it, I took it upon myself to try and find out what he's been doing, and I realized that this person has really been pushing for a career in line to what he learned in school. And knowing that this person is an A scholar, particularly when he was back in high school, these are people who were able to do everything. Is he in football? He's playing table tennis, he's in leadership, but the fact that he believes that what he did in campus is what he should practice has at least put him on the backside for a bit. So I enrolled him in a mentorship program that, and it's basically just trying to adjust him to try to do something else, maybe in research, maybe to do with digital marketing, just to try and twinkle his mind a little bit and to look things from a different perspective. So my thinking, or rather what I will advise, is flexibility and allowing not to follow particularly, I want to do what Nguka is doing because it's working for you. Just try and follow your own path. As people are going to mention, the internet is very, very, very informative. So how are you using the internet yourself? Matters pertaining working from home and all that, remote working, because I think the young generation are getting it all wrong with remote working and working from home. So also the self-awareness I was speaking about, the discipline. Are you attending classes? If at all you're attending classes without supervision, you'll be able to work from home without supervision. But if you're given this opportunity to work from home and you again require that supervision, you're not going to survive in this career. So there's a lot to discuss, but I'll just also leave my panelists to share something little, but it's very general, I'd say.
Thank you. What I'm getting from there is that you are very big on mentorship and helping them to identify what they can be really good at. Mr. Gilbert, give us a global perspective.
Yeah, so you're going to hear technology a lot. Everybody's going to talk about technology. And I mean, if we define technology at its simplest form, it's supposed to make our life easier and do things more efficiently. So what that means is that for me, if you're doing a job that is very routine focused, it means that technology can probably do it better and faster, right? And so when you are putting yourself out on the job market, what else do you bring outside the ability to follow instructions and do things how somebody's telling you to do? So that's one side of it. The next part is that the technology is going to do a lot of the job. What is going to left is the human interaction. So how are you as a communicator? How are you at building relationships? How do you solve problems with individuals? And so that's what I'm looking for when somebody come in. How do you fit in the team, right? How do you communicate with each other? Because at the end of the day, we need to accomplish a goal. And if we cannot talk to each other, if we cannot create together, then the team cannot go where it needs to be. We also deal in, from my perspective, global partners, different cultures, right? Different level of education. And so I need somebody that can think for themselves, a self-starter, can communicate very well, not afraid to go into issues, right? So I interviewed one person and they shared an example of a time where they had to have a very difficult conversation. And it's a panel interview, and at the end, I'm like, I like this person. And everybody's looking at me like, why? I was like, because he was able to have conversations that I know some people in this room cannot have. And that conversation was critical for them to achieve their goal. So those are the little things that I look for when I'm talking to people. I'm looking at their experience and their resume. So if you put in forward your resume, it's important to not only show the duties that you did, but sometimes the achievement. And then when you get the opportunity to get in front of somebody and talk to them, reflect on past experience, right? So a lot of people will describe what they do, and I can read that. Tell me something I don't know. Tell me about you as an individual. So when you get that opportunity, look to show the other skills that is not very tangible on a piece of paper.
Thank you so much. Round of applause for him. Yeah, I'm getting that you are so big on communication. Are you able to communicate what you are able to do? So thank you so much for that. And Mr. Martin, as you go next, I would love you to comment about the professional certifications and how they're important in the 21st century. Yes.
Thank you, Peter. I want to plug in an aspect of the business side of things. I know we've talked a lot about technology and what's happening. So irrespective of the route you want to take, whether you want to get employed or whether you want to start your own entrepreneurial journey, you will not run away from business knowledge and proficiency in business. And this is the reason. If you get employed, you're only able to provide more value to your employer if you understand the business that your employer is in. So if you understand what matters to your employer, then you're able to align your output with that. If you're going into entrepreneurship, for example, let's say you're in engineering, you're a very fantastic engineer, very competent, but you need the business skills to be able to start an engineering firm and run it as a successful business, okay? So you will not run away from proficiency in business skills over and above the rest of the skills we are going to talk about. So ACCA fills that gap because you may not necessarily have gotten all those skills in your degree. So being the world's most forward-thinking accountancy body, we provide the ACCA qualification, which equips you with the most recent accounting and finance knowledge. So you understand business, you understand all aspects of the organization, you understand the money bit, you have skills in management, strategy, and all that you need to be an all-rounded finance professional. So that is how we bridge that gap through provision of those skills, through the ACCA qualification, which doesn't end by you becoming a member. Once you're a member, then there's a requirement for you to continue accumulating what we call CPD hours, which is continuous professional development hours. So that means you're constantly up to date. So that's the value of the professional certifications in terms of plugging the gap we are talking about, and especially for the graduates and students.
Thank you. A round of applause for Mr. Martin. And just a spot check, how many people are doing ACCA in here? ACCA students? All right. Any professional certification? Those who are studying maybe CPA, those who are studying those professional certification? Anyone else? All right. All right. So you can see we have students here. Thank you so much. So Matthew, I want you also to comment something about the tech industries. What are some of these skills that we will be looking for and other companies in the tech industry?
Okay, thank you so much for that. Mine I'll break into two. There is the part that's it's about the professional knowledge. That's what we get from school. And then there's a part that has been mentioned a lot about the interpersonal skills, communication. These are the soft skills. So the professional knowledge and the soft skills. So for professional knowledge, it's the knowledge that you get from school, going through the courses and all that. But beside that, what else do you need to do? He's mentioned about the certifications. These are the things that will keep you up to date with the current trends in the industry. So example of engineering, the guys joining Huawei, if you have certifications from either Huawei or Cisco, CCNA, HCIP, these kind of certifications in networking, then it means you understand what is going on in the market, in the industry, because you already know what is there in that certifications, the content that is in the industry. So this is one part. You should also be diverse. Besides the certification, you don't just focus on one thing. We have people from computer science. You want to do only coding and just things to do with software engineering. Try to expand. Now we have cloud. People are buying space, say for example, they are buying space within Safaricom data center to store data. We no longer have to have a big data center in all the offices around the cities. So cloud is the new thing. They've mentioned about the AI. So are you versed with these things? So besides the certification, the professional knowledge, you also have to be diverse, expand your knowledge, keep up with the current trends. An example of current trends, I can give you, the last month we were looking for an engineer for wireless. Currently in Kenya, most people have done 2G, 3G, 4G. This is the basics. It's what is there at the moment in Kenya. But we wanted someone who understands about 5G, because this is where we are heading to. In other countries, Huawei, for example, in China, has launched 5.5G. They are already there. So in Kenya, finding an engineer who already understands 5G has been hectic. We only have to train, because we are much ahead with what we have in the company. So we have to train so that we know we fill the gap. If we had someone with those skills in the industry, we would not have time. We would not have hard time finding the person. So this is the part for the professional knowledge. And then for the soft skills, he's mentioned one, and I'm going to pick that: flexibility. You always have to be flexible in the current, in this 21st century. Don't say that I did microbiology or that only. No, you have to be flexible. And then he talked about the communication skills, leadership, these kind of things. They look simple. For us in the tech industry, it also applies. You are given a team. You are a TD or a team leader. You have to manage your team. You also have to manage the customer. How are you going to deal with that? So you also have to equip yourselves with all those skills. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Matthew. Round of applause. Yes, he is saying that we cannot underscore the professional skills, but again, we have to improve our soft skills. Now, on to Ms. Angela. As you comment on what Unilever is doing, we're also interested. Now, most of these students here are Gen Zs. Most of them do not like staying in one place for very long. They feel like they want to get here, but kuna deal inaivana mahali. They keep applying for jobs. So that is basically how the Gen Zs are. So we want to understand, what is Unilever doing to enhance their personal growth and their employee retention?
Right. Thanks for that question. First of all, before I answer it, how many people have heard of Unilever? By a show of hands. Who are the Royco users? Do you have Royco? Geisha? Good, fantastic. So quite a number of you know about Unilever and our products. So what we do, and one of the things that I'd really like to emphasize on as I answer your question to start with, learning, regardless of your generation, does not stop when you graduate university. So I'd like to really emphasize the difference between studying and learning. Learning needs to be lifelong. The moment you graduate does not mean, okay, these are my papers, I'm done learning, now I want a job, right? So how we approach learning and development, particularly for Gen Zs at Unilever, is in 3 ways. The first thing is providing opportunities where they are able to get enrichment from their jobs, right? So when you get a role, you will not master all the skills in that role in 1 year or 6 months. You need to get time to build what we call depth. So the more you build depth, the more you get that experience. And how we keep people engaged at Unilever, particularly Gen Zs, is we continuously give what we call flex projects. So over and above the role that you're doing, there's opportunities to participate in a global project. You know, Gen Zs love excitement. They want the next thing, right? So we've identified that and we say, okay, you still need to deliver in your role. However, these are the global projects available for you. Raise your hand, get to interact with people globally. The other thing that I'd really like to emphasize, and other avenues of learning, the second thing is mentorship. By show of hands, how many people here have mentors? Right. So it's a very good opportunity not just to learn as you're doing the work, but also learning from others. Today we are all learning from one another here, right? We are not experts. You'll never get to a point where you say I'm an expert. So we are all learning from one another. So mentorship is really important, and that's also what we provide and how we approach navigating skills. The last thing is formal learning. We have a wide array of learning partners, of course, CCA being one of them, particularly from a CPD point of view. But in those 3 ways, on the job, getting those projects. For those who are here, how you're able to get experience, do an attachment here or there. We are going to start advertising for attachments pretty soon. So please follow us on LinkedIn to get those updates. But also seek mentorship from other people to keep learning. And the third thing as well, keep putting yourself updated on what's happening, particularly in your area of expertise, so that when we are saying we are navigating the future of work, you are spearheading that change, and you're not part of the change where, oh, this is what is the in thing now, I need to study, is ChatGPT. You'd have already foreseen that because you're learning from others, you're curious, and you understand that learning does not end at school, it's continuous.
Thank you so much. She says learning does not end, it is continuous, and mentorship is very, very important. Now, panelists, I want us to agree that you help me spot those people who are clapping so hard. And when you're recruiting, wakuwe mbele kwa list. We have an agreement? Okay, let's now clap for Angela. Naona claps zimeongezeka. Now, Defense Mrunde, Ajira is a program that was started a little bit a while ago. I have been part of Ajira program. I know it's a program that is really helping a lot of students, but we have seen other students shying away from the program. We want to understand what are some of the benefits of the program that these students can know, they can understand, and they can now learn to be part of this program. Yes.
Thank you so much. So for Ajira Digital Program, as you've mentioned, yes, it was launched in 2020. And that is, it's an initiative by the government under the Ministry of ICT and Digital Economy. And I know some of the students have been shying away, but we've also experienced some of the students who are also doing well in the, through the the Ajira Digital Program. What we focus on is we focus on empowering you or upskilling you with the digital skills. And these are on-demand market digital skills. And I'd love to mention a few that we are really focused on when it comes to empowering the students. And this is in preparation to the job market, because you will graduate, but upskilling, reskilling are things that after you do a self-search, you realize that these are the market skills that are out there. This is what is required when it comes to digital skills. And one of the statistics I want to highlight when it comes to digital skills is that according to Brookings Institutions, and this is a recent research in 2024, they highlighted that for workers who have digital skills tend to earn 22% more than workers who do not have the digital skills. And I think this is why the Ajira Digital Program was introduced into the Kenyan youth, to support them in upskilling for digital skills. And we offer a series of 27 modules. The best part about these modules is that we do free training. Because it's a government initiative, it is focusing on youth underemployment and unemployment. We want to ensure that every youth get access to the program and to the training. And we do this through offering free training. The training is free. We have virtual options. So if you're still in school, you can still access the digital skills training. And we train in diverse skills. Like I've mentioned, there are 27 modules. If I start mentioning now, I don't think I'll be able to finish maybe highlighting what exactly we do in the Ajira Digital Program. But apart from that, we also partner with different certification organizations. We also partner with international organizations to offer upskilling opportunities for youth. And guess what? These upskilling opportunities are free. Like currently, we have partnered with Amazon Web Services, where we are offering AWS Restart program, which is a cloud computing career program that introduces students to the career space of cloud. And the program runs for 12 weeks, and after the 12 weeks, you receive our international recognized certification as a cloud computer practitioner. Apart from that, the skills that you gain during these 12 weeks are really immense, and they're really needed when it comes to the market demand skills. These include the likes of Python, Linux, data management, automation, and Amazon Web Services cloud integration. When you look at the space that we are in currently, you realize that everything is moving to the cloud. So being aware and gaining the skills and knowledge that are required when it comes to interacting with the cloud is very important. And they can be as basic as just creating a cloud space where you're saving your photos, where you're saving your contact details. How exactly do you interact in such a platform? So those are the kind of training and upskilling and reskilling opportunities that we offer when it comes to the Ajira Digital program.
Thank you so much. A round of applause for her. Yes, Ajira Digital program is a very important program, and Ms. Naomi, the section head for career services, is in charge of the program. We have a career center at Education Building, I think room 213. I think that's the place where we always run the Ajira Digital program classes. So do plug in so that you can also benefit from that. So Mr. Geoffrey, we are back to you. The president has this agenda of having 15 billion trees planted, I think by 2032. Recently, we had floods all over the country, and Kenyans across the country were suffering. We have seen people coming up and helping them. Now, we understand that students in this century are not only coming to the job and to the workplace to just work. They also want to do something that matters to them, something that communicates something to them, something that gives them some empathy. So I want to understand, is there some things that Techno is doing to reach out to the community, to reach out to help our environment? Recently, we had a holiday just dedicated for reaching out to people. Is there something that Techno is doing?
Okay. Thank you very much for that, Peter. Corporate social responsibility is something that every organizations need to embrace to be able to feel close to the people that they are serving, people that they are relating with. Recently, I think it's actually globally, we've had issues to do with floods. And closely home, it has affected a lot of families, unfortunately. And Techno has been on the forefront, basically visiting families affected in mostly the informal settlements, the likes of Kibra, the likes of Mkuru kwa Jenga. Yeah, we've had a team go around. Basically, we've been visiting mainly the chief's camp because most families have been displaced. So you find the main, or rather the recent thing that we were able to do is to just basically supply them with the commodities that they will require: foodstuffs, beddings, clothing, and such. That is just to mention an activity that happened recently. I think that should be the beginning of this month. And it's something that is ongoing. It has been ongoing week in, week out, spearheaded by Techno. And previously, this is something that we are always doing and engaging with the community. We've been here at the University of Nairobi severally. So I'd say this is something that we really, really put on the forefront, and it's something that is appreciated and happening at Techno. And it's good, commendable as well to see other organizations do the same as well, because that's the only thing that we can be able to do to give back to our community. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. A round of applause for Geoffrey. So as we continue with this conversation, I want to let us know that we are going to have a question and answer session in a few minutes. So do be noting down your questions so that you're able to ask them to the relevant people here. So Mr. Gilbert, USAID is a global organization. And I know it's very keen on innovation as a tool to help improve the skills of the workforce in the 21st century. So we want to understand what are some of these skills that USAID is impacting on their workforce, and how is it promoting innovation?
Yeah, so I think fostering innovation can be very difficult, but easy at the same time, right? It's all about culture and the environment. And so one thing I tell my team is that this is a fail-safe environment. You're allowed to fail. It doesn't mean that you don't put in the work, right? Within reason, if you have an idea, you thought through it, you discuss it with your peers, you identify some known risks, and you tried it, and if I'm completely okay with it, because that's how we get to innovation. If we don't try new things, we will never get over there. So I tell my team, fail and fail fast, and give us the lesson learned so that we can continue. But as USAID globally, and actually one of my HR team lead was supposed to be sitting in the chair, but she's in Bangkok right now, right? So what we have also created is Innovation Lab and Learning Centers. And so right now she's in Bangkok meeting with other peers around the world and discussing some of the issues they are facing and how everyone is addressing it. So we've created spaces where people could come together and learn. You know, a couple of weeks ago, she was also in Ghana doing the same thing. So we have regional training centers around the world where people can come together. We also partner with universities such as yourself. We sponsor research to get new ideas going on. I know we have an agreement with University of Nairobi, but we're also looking for some of our employees right now to go to California to attend a seminar with private sector leaders to learn how they're approaching different problems, particularly how we use technology again in development. So I think the first thing is to create that environment where people feel comfortable trying new things and not punishing people when they fail reasonably, right? I feel like I need to put that over there. You need to do it within means, and also knowing when to do it. Because some of the services we provide are critical life support services. So we can't be playing around with that, right? So in the tech world, having your MVP, your minimum viable product, and tweaking it and moving forward with that. So we really encourage that, and that comes also with training and development program. You know, I don't want to say my budget for training and development, but when I told one of my colleagues, they were like, wow, right? And again, that include, I want people to go learn outside the USAID bubble. Like, we all can have groupthink. So going to meet other USAID mission in Ethiopia or Rwanda, that's all great. But what is, you know, Techno doing? You know, what are other companies, Unilever, P&G, what are they doing when it comes to human resource? How are they attracting new talent? I want to know all those practices and see how we can fit in there. So dedicating money to what you say you want to do. So training and development is a big part of my budget, and it's over $1 million.
Thank you so much. I love the way you said it's part of your budget, and it is something that the students are looking forward to. And just before I go to the next person, I want to understand, is there a way that our students can benefit from such initiatives?
Yes, definitely. So one thing the way we approach development, we call it inclusive development, right? And so traditionally, a lot of countries have been in other countries for a long time. And our goal is to work ourselves out of a job. And so what we do is we identify our what we call implementing partners, and we co-create with them the ideas, and then we give them the money to implement, right? So we have opportunity within us, but most of them are with your local organizations, your universities, your polytechnics, hospitals, and we're like, okay, this is, for example, we just had a new agreement with one of the polytech where we say, how do you skill up young people by putting them in like internship type of job? And we gave them the money to be able to do that. And so we do it through our local partners. So you reach out to USAID, but look at our programs that we're doing and reach out to our partners. You'll find out a lot of opportunities going on, including your own university here.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you've said that University of Nairobi is one of your partners. So Naomi, kazi kwako. So asante sana, Mr. Martin. SCCA has professional certifications, And we understand that there's a gap between the qualification that people come from the universities, what is needed in the job market. I want to understand what are some of the partnerships that you have with education institutions so that you can help bridge this gap?
Thank you. We look at it from a full circle point of view. And this is what I mean by full circle. The industry has identified that there's a gap between the students who are coming into the workforce and what the workforce actually requires. And how do we know that? One of the things that we are very heavy on at ACCA is research. We are constantly engaging with all the stakeholders in the industry at all levels, from the C-suite leaders to our members who are in the finance and accounting spaces. So we do carry out extensive research. We release those reports. Right now, there is the Global Talent Trends Report 2024. That's available online. If you Google it, you'll find it. And that shares very comprehensive insights around what the workplace is saying about the talent in 2024. That was released in February. So that's the first side of things. The second side of things is the academic institutions, universities, colleges, and all. So your degree is very important. Make no mistake about that. And that's why the recruiters will always have that requirement, that you must have some level of academic knowledge. However, there are still some skills you will need before you can become completely productive at work. And those skills may not be gained as you do your degree unless you're very deliberate in acquiring those skills. And that puts the burden on the employer to now take you in and first train you before you can be on your feet as a worker or as a member of staff and start delivering the value which they hired you for in the very first place. So there is that bit, and then there is the professional certifications. So like I mentioned earlier, we bridge that gap by ensuring that we provide those skills, and that's why we encourage students, don't wait until you're done with your degree to start exploring professional certifications, because then you'll have lost the time. Right now, when you're in campus, you have access to all the resources, you have access to the library, you have access to everything that you need for studies, and you have access to a lot of time. Yeah, sometimes I ask students to do the math in terms of how many hours they have and how many classes you have in a day, and do that out of 8 hours and see how many hours you have in a day. It's mostly more than half the time that you're not engaged in school. So you have all the time, you have all the resources, so get those skills now. So in terms of plugging the gap, we provide those skills to prepare you for the workforce. And we know the skills that you need because we have engaged with the industry. We have more than 8,000 approved employers that we work with, and our members are in all the industries: sports, hospitality, business, humanitarian, tech, everything. So we are able to get all that information. In terms of partnerships, even for the institutions, for example, the universities, we also have a value addition for them because we provide opportunities for benchmarking in terms of the content and how the content is delivered. They're able to benchmark with other universities across the world. We have accreditation partnerships. We have framework agreements that say if you're doing a certain degree in a certain university, then we can allow you to get exemptions into ACCA, just as a way of enabling you to, get started on your journey and recognize the work that you've also put in your academic qualifications. So all these opportunities are there. It's just for the students to take them up. That's what I would say.
Oh, I love the conclusion. That is just upon you, the students, to take them up. The opportunities are available. A round of applause for Mr. Martin. Now on to Mr. Matthew. I think some of the things that our students are looking forward to is to get into a workforce that cares about who they are. Some of them are not people who talk a lot, and perhaps they are scared about if people will be able to hear them when they are putting forward their points. Some of them are from different religions, and they are wondering if people would consider even their religion, where they come from, their races, or will there be some biases towards them? So I want to understand how Huawei is able to promote inclusivity and diversity in the workplace.
Thank you so much for that question. Huawei is complicated because it's an Eastern company. It's a Chinese company, yeah? But inside it, it has people from different countries. We have Kenyans, we have Indians, we have Pakistan, we have everyone inside. So now, if we are hiring or bringing in new people, whether experienced or fresh graduates, we have courses, first of all. We have what we call new employee orientation program. So this will enable the new person, when they join, to get familiar with what is in Huawei and what to expect. So this is normally what happens the first 1 month they join. They are taught about this. Beside that, we have mentors and a supervisor. So mentors, we see if this person is new from school, then we have a local and a supervisor who is a Chinese or an expatriate. So these people will guide them. They will always give feedback on the progress of these people and hold their hands until they are good to go. For experienced, we might have a local who is, we call them peers, someone who will just support them, but a mentor who is a Chinese. So this is done to make sure that people settle in very well. Now, beside this, we have, for example, Kenya office is in charge of Kenya, Mauritius, Madagascar, and Comoros. So these are different countries. So what happens is we organize trainings, say, for example, in Mauritius, and then we have guys from, employees from Kenya, Madagascar, Comoros go to Mauritius. Same thing, the next time we'll organize in Kenya and have them come here. So that is one part. Besides all this, we also have activities that will boost, we have clubs, be it running club, studying club, table tennis club. So we make sure that in these clubs we have a Chinese or an expatriate and a local. So we make sure that we have a budget for these clubs so that they organize activities to make sure that staff engage in co-curricular activities beside the work. And then beside that also we have team buildings. So these ones we ensure that each department has a budget for team buildings for the year. So these are the things that happen in Huawei. Now, the last part, you can see I'm here today as the hiring manager. My supervisor is a Chinese. This position in another country is held by a Chinese. But they have tried to do what is called localization. We try to mix, some positions can be given to the locals, others can be given to the Chinese or expatriates. So that's the last bit. So that's what we do in Huawei.
Thank you so much. I love the bit about traveling to other countries. Do you have new openings?
You can talk to me after this.
So, who else want to talk to him? Umeona? Sawa. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Matthew, for that. And now on to Miss Angela. I've talked to some students. I served here as a governor of main campus, and I talk to students, and we hear what they are saying about where they want to work and how they want to work. There are some of them who do not want to work from the office. They want to work maybe from the house. There are some of them who want to work as consultants. They want to work as contractors. So I want to know how Unilever is able to use non-traditional methods of recruiting people. They're able to use maybe other ways of recruiting people or other flexible ways of working, just apart from working from the office or just being on full-time work.
Okay, so at Unilever, we do not conform to the traditional working models. So we are currently in the hybrid arrangement. So that means 3 days you work from home, 2 days you come to the office. However, just alluding to what I shared earlier, we have people working in Kenya who are doing global projects. So that's what we call agnostic, another model of working. So if you're based in Nairobi, Kenya, however, and actually this came about during the COVID season where you were not able to travel to other countries, getting work permits was a challenge. So we then invented a model called agnostic roles. So agnostic is you're based in Nairobi, Kenya, but you're working for the UK or South Africa. Then that gives you the opportunity to still get the same benefits, but you are local here. We also have avenues where we sort of contract fixed-term contractors, as well as 3P resources. So for Unilever employees, maybe just to answer your question, hybrid, 3 days from home, 2 days in the office, as well as agnostic. And if you are then agnostic, it's 100% remote, so you don't need to come to the office. However, we do have very many virtual connects, so then that gives everybody, working from home can be very isolating. I'm not sure if you guys felt it during COVID, but it's very isolating. So we have different engagement programs to ensure that regardless of where you are, we are all still connected. We are all still checking up on one another, particularly from a well-being point of view.
Thank you so much. I love the point of 3 days at home, 2 days at the office. Guys, do you love that? Do you have openings? Do you have openings, job openings?
Follow us on LinkedIn.
So we finish with Defense Mrunde, and we want to understand some complementary courses that our students can do. Maybe I'm doing economics, what else can I study? Maybe I'm doing BCom, what else do I need to do? Do I need to go for Excel or maybe SPSS? What else can I do so that I can be ready for the job market?
So some of the complementary courses that we usually recommend under the Ajira Digital program to support your already gained skills and knowledge from your graduate course are digital communication. And what do we mean by this? Most of the panelists here have mentioned how there is remote work involved when it comes to the current way of working, especially after the COVID and the pandemic. And what we encourage when it comes to digital communication, are you aware on how to use the digital platforms that are out there when it comes to communicating to your team, collaboration and teamwork, the soft skills that you already have? How can you use a tool like Trello, a tool like Teams to communicate to the team that you're working with? The other complementary course that we always encourage is when it comes to data analysis. Data has become such a big thing in today's economy in terms of understanding or decision making and understanding the future, and also predicting and providing solutions when it comes to businesses. And so data analysis is another complementary. And let me just highlight that when we talk of data analysis, we do not mean that you go ahead and do Python or R or whatever. Excel, Google Excel, Excel sheets, Google Sheets, they can do data analysis. You can start from that. And that will help in terms of the different various workspaces that we are getting into. The other complementary skills that we also encourage when it comes to the Ajira Digital program is be social media savvy. And why this? Because we have seen people earning through TikTok using the current skills that I have. We have also seen how you create a profile or you brand yourself when it comes to the LinkedIn platform. And these social media platforms offer so many tools that you can utilize when it comes, or you can leverage when it comes to putting yourself as a brand out there, or even marketing yourself in terms of the skills that you have gained or the kind of graduate course that you have done. So it's really important that we look at such complementary courses which place you at an advantageous place when it comes to in this competitive marketplace.
Thank you so much. A round of applause for our panelists. So as we prepare our parting shots and our final words to the students, I want us to stand up. Our panelists pia tusimame. We have been standing since morning. So stress. Make sure you talk to somebody. Thank you. We can now be seated. We can be seated. And as we sit. MC is saying we have a few minutes for a few questions. Thank you. So I want to know, how many people have questions? 1, 2, 3, 4. MC, can you see them? Your hands again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we'll be taking those 5. Maybe you can have a microphone for them. Just stand wherever you are so that we can do this a little bit fast. There's somebody here. Oh, here. Start from Nekesa.
Hello? Yeah, no, it's okay. Thank you. Thank you, Peter. My name is Esther Nekesa. I work here at the University of Nairobi. I wanted to move. Okay, so I wanted to ask, apart from Unilever, I haven't heard the other industries talking about how they've adapted to Gen Z. If there's anything at all they've done to adapt to the new, can we say the new workforce? We call them the new workforce. And if that's a different notion, is it a yes or a no? Are the employers supposed to be adapting to the different workforce, or the workforce will adapt to the... Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have noted that. The next question.
My name is Marion. My question is to Mr. Martin about ACCA. Are there like scholarship, sponsorship opportunities for students to study ACCA out there?
Thank you so much. Mr. Martin, I hope you've noted it.
All right. Good afternoon. Thank you, panelists, for the remarks that you've had, and I want to thank the Careers Office for organizing such a thing. Now, my question is, okay, my name is Justin. My question is, you have told us the what, but I've not heard details about the how. In this world and age, I interact with my friends, and a majority of us have skills. Now, what will make me as Justin to stand out? What will make me to navigate? Because if this data analysis, mean all my classmates have that skill, if it's this, I know a majority they have this skill. So what will make me to navigate and stand out past beyond what is today? Because in this day and age, especially this university, students are more exposed to these things. And then another thing that perhaps I would ask is about experience. Now, most of the positions or the opportunities that are outside here, they want us to have experience. So where do I get this experience if I'm gonna start into an entry role? Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Alila. Thank you so much, panelists, for the insights. It is very beneficial. I have 3 questions, one to Geoffrey, one to Martin, and one to Matthew, okay? So I am a microbiologist. Sadly enough, I am that microbiologist that we're all talking about today, but I'm so happy that for once in such a platform, I have had it mentioned. Rarely have I had a microbiologist been mentioned. And so to you, Geoffrey, you have mentioned that you have mentorship opportunities. How do we get on those platforms? How do we enroll in such things, yeah? Because there's no way I am becoming like any of those friends, yeah? So thank you. I'd wish to hear from you on that one. My next question goes to Martin, yeah? You have spoken about ACCA and programs like CPA, yeah? Are there any other proficiency certifications, especially in the business world, apart from that, things like strategic planning, project management, and such things? And do you offer courses on the same, yeah? And finally, to Matthew, you have mentioned certifications with partners like Cisco and also Huawei. I would like to know the nature of them. Are they free? Do we pay for them? Are they school-based? Are they self-paced? Are they only applicable for Huawei, or are these skills essential and useful outside your Huawei or outside, say, mobile or tech companies? Can we branch with them into all these other fields? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes. The last one.
Thank you for this opportunity. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, all protocols observed with due respect. I'm Stacy Melvin Akinyi, a first year taking
Gender and Development Studies. Okay, I've made an observation that on that panelist, everyone is under STEM, is taking a STEM-related course, and you are all there because of that. And so my key issue is that, do you get to consider these social scientists in your programs? For example, like the case of the Huawei company, where you have to employ people in the field of science, computer science actually, and then you have to waste another month and other time training them in these social, like cultural relativism stuffs. So I think that it is better if you get to put people like these social scientists in these programs also. And then another thing that I wanted to ask is that, do you think that there is the lack of incorporating these people that are having this social science knowledge in them into your programs has led to the lack of success in your programs? Like, we found out that in the ChatGPT, it has not found a good approach from various people. Do you think that this can be something that has contributed to that? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stacy. Let's have the last one. Stacy, when I was in first year, I was not that bold. That was good. Let's clap for Stacy.
Okay, my name is Brian Mutembe. First, I would like to thank the esteemed panelists for this engaging and informative session. I would like to say, like, I love your style. I love the way you present information. I'd love to be like you one day. So my question is to Mr. Gilbert. As you reflect on your final year at the university, did you have any worries or challenges? If so, what strategies or resources helped you overcome them? Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for loving also our style. We also love the shirt, the style of that shirt. Asante sana. So ladies and gentlemen, a lot of questions here. I know we all have something that we would love to respond to, and maybe I could just do a run through. Nekesa wanted to find out what are some of the strategies that we are incorporating so that we can have the Gen Zs. What are some of the things that we are doing in our companies? And there's a question to Martin about SCCA sponsorship. Do you have some strategies that you have there at SCCA that you can sponsor other students? A student known as Justin asked about, we have talked about what we need to do, but how do we do it? Another question was about experience. If somebody is joining the company, has not had a lot of experience, how do we help such a person? There's a question to Geoffrey. Where do we get the mentorship? To Martin, other proficiencies apart from SCCA? What are some of these proficiencies? And to Matthew, do you charge for your certifications? Stacy asked about social scientists. And I think it was a genuine cry. She's saying, you guys are talking about computer science. You're talking about BCom. Where do sociologists go? Where do psychologists go? So I think it's something that we want to respond to. And lastly, Brian is saying, are we afraid of ChatGPT and how are we responding to that? So I think we'd start from Geoffrey, just a few minutes so that we can conclude.
Okay, thank you very much, guys, for those questions. I think I'll handle two. There is the question that was raised first in regards to how we are accommodating the Gen Zs. I think this is very crucial in every organization right now, because what we are looking at, or rather what we are trying to or rather the people that we are trying to talk to here, are the people that we expect to be the workforce during this 21st century. Coming years, we expect more Gen Zs to be joining the workforce. And this is, I'd like to say, because I have younger siblings, these are very special generation, I'd say. And as Angela said, they are quick to jump to the next thing. So this is allowed. Techno, I'd say, is 80% is basically the young people. We have quite a number of Gen Zs, and we have devised ways to be able to accommodate Gen Zs. So it is not that we have to conform, but we have to be flexible as an organization as well. The same way I've been speaking about adaptability and flexibilities with the Gen Zs as well, of which I know each and every organization, this is something that they have been trying to communicate mostly to their Gen Zs, that in as far as you want to do something else, there is that duty that you've been assigned, and you need to ensure that it is done. There is a lady the lady who does microbiology. Remind me your name again, kindly. Anila. Pleasure to meet you, and thank you very much for that question. Yeah, I know it's an outcry. Microbiology, we've heard of the social sciences and all, and I'll take you back to what you heard the Vice Chancellor say during the first session. We've had political leaders tell us ni kujituma. So I tell you for free. When we came here, like I think 2 years ago, when we came to launch the Techno UoN Club, and we initiated the first lot of the graduate trainees. Peter Nguka joined the first lot, and basically whatever he was doing, it was not in relation to economics and statistics, whatever he was learning in the University of Nairobi. Nguka joined Techno, he ran events, he did activations, he was involved in marketing. So all round he was able to understand that. And now he's retained in the company doing whatever he learned in the university, and he's appreciating it. So the programs that we run, we do not entirely look at the background of your education. So if you come to us as Techno and you want to join the graduate trainee program, first and foremost, we are going to look at the general aspects. How can you be able, how is your communication skills good? How is your critical thinking? Are you able to work with the rest of the team members? Yes, you are a Gen Z, but are you able to take instructions as given? And are you able to put on that are you able to go that extra mile? So there's a lot to look at. And that's why I kept on mentioning that you need to evaluate yourself as a person, position yourself in the current working environment, understand, be aware of whatever is happening currently in the market. So there is just a lot to learn, but just stay open-minded in as far as that you're doing that course. It does not limit you to basically pursue something in line to that career. I know probably it's a passion. There's a guy who talked, I cannot remember the name, he's the CEO, he was flying out before he left. He mentioned that we also need to create entrepreneurs. So with that mentality, always also try and think outside the box. What can you be able to do as a person, no matter how small? Your neighbor there talked about how do you stand out. You don't expect, because you have the data analytics skills, that the data analytics job is going to find you where you sit. You've heard Nguka ask Angela whether they have job openings, and her response was, follow us on LinkedIn. I would want to know how many of you students have a LinkedIn pages here. That is quite commendable. And I'd challenge those that do not have LinkedIn pages, kindly just create, understand how it works, and you're going to find a lot of opportunities there. So I think I've tackled maybe 2 or 3 questions. I'll leave the panelists to handle the rest.
Thank you. And since time is not on our side, I would love you to give your parting shot before we move to the next person. Okay.
My parting shot will still be something that I mentioned as I began. I believe that young people know too little to be prudent, and for that, they try the impossible. And they attain the impossible generation after generation. So do not relent, push, and at Techno, we say we stop at nothing. So kindly join us at Techno, and let's stop at nothing together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We stop at nothing. Yes, Gilbert.
Yeah. Those were some great questions, and so I'm going to start with the first one. about the workplace dealing with Gen Z. So we are in a unique situation. Never have we had 4, in some companies, 5 generations at the workplace, right? We have, well, you could say the silent generation, the baby boomers, the X's, the millennials, and the Gen Z. And very soon the alphas will be coming, right? So do we adapt to Gen Z? I don't think we necessarily adapt to one generation. We just put things in place, and that's what we're doing. We put in things in place that makes all generations able to coexist, right? That means everybody have to change something, right? You have, some of the baby boomers who will stay at one company for 35 years. We know from research that's not even millennials. Millennials will switch, right? And Gen Z's not, people say they question authority in a negative connotation, but from my own research at one of my consulting jobs, I realized Gen Zs are just asking the question, we know this problem, if it has existed for 4 generations, and you tell me be patient and do it your way, right? So it's not necessarily question authority, it's can we do this differently than the way you want? And so we look at our leadership and management to really help us create a culture where people can come in, ask questions, and not others feel disrespected, right? And so I'm constantly in the ears of my office directors. Hey, what is this problem you're having with this person? Trying to understand it. Is it a generational difference? Is it a cultural difference, right? We had that question about diversity and inclusion. Sometimes just the way Americans work is different from the way Kenyans work. For example, it happens in generations. It happens even to a degree with gender. So we just have to make sure the workplace can accommodate all of that, and we don't look for one generation or one gender or one culture to overstretch to accommodate the others. So culture is very important to us at USAID. How do you stand out, or how do you get those skills? So this is an exercise I always ask my mentees. Go on My Jobs in Kenya or go on LinkedIn. Look for the job that you are looking for, right? You can be a first year. Actually, it's great if you're a first year. Look for that job you aspire to have. What skills are they looking? Both hard skills and soft skills. And you ask yourself, do I have these skills? And then how do I get these skills? That's where some volunteer activities might come in. And it doesn't necessarily have to be at a professional environment, right? I believe you mentioned you volunteer for an environment club, planting trees. Those take organization. I know USAID will be going out to the national park in a couple of weeks to help clean up after the flood. We have somebody organizing all this. That's project management. That's coordination, right? So even if it happened outside the workplace, those are skill set that you can put to get in your resume or your CV, and when you get in front of somebody, you have to tease out those skills for us. So it doesn't always have to be at a professional environment. I'm sure there are student clubs, people play sports, they're team captain, that's leadership skills. So let's not get very narrow-minded in where do I get this experience. The experiences are available for you to get it. It's your ability to position yourself. I think you mentioned that earlier. How do you position yourself for a job? In terms of certification, I know they'll touch on it. That's something that we're also big on. And for all our staff, we have certifications they have to do and continuous learning credits that they have to get. I think, some of them are paid, but it's important to, at times, get some of these because, for example, I'm a PMP certified, Agile, all these, project management. And I remember the time that I got it, it wasn't because I didn't know project management. I was trying to switch fields, and I just needed the people to read my resume and just feel confident that I can come in and manage a technology program. and I'll lean that into your social science courses. I'm not a STEM person. I mean, if you want to consider public health as STEM, it's really not, right? It's about social science policy and things like that. I've worked in technology development, very STEM-based. What I did was I took those skill set from working in the health sector, from working in social sciences, and I was able to pull out, look, technology is about experimentation. Microbiologists, you know some of the principles of experimentation. Again, not boxing yourself, right? It's how do I take those experiences and place them elsewhere? Because technology is testing product, failing, testing another one, and keep going on. So your ability to take those core principles in your field and place them elsewhere is going to be very crucial. And so don't just look at it as this is my major, this is social sciences. Again, for me, there are certain roles that I think if you have the personality, you have the communication, you have the leadership, project management, we can train you. And I think everybody can say there are positions in their company where they feel like whatever you came with, we're probably going to train you completely differently. And so we just need a lifelong learner, somebody who's willing to learn with us and have the critical thinking skills alongside other skills to grow with us. And sorry, just the chat GPT thing. Look, I embrace technology. I just had a question from one of my HR people. We received some skills tests and it looked like these people use chat GPT. We should disqualify these candidates. And you know, it was a very tough discussion. And I don't know where I stand, but I was like, you know what? I applaud those people. We did not put in that solicitation that the use of technology is not allowed. And they probably did that in 15 minutes, and everybody else did it in an hour. That's efficiency to me, right? And my whole staff is looking at me like, are you serious? But to me, again, that's the point of technology. So we embrace it. Of course, don't use it to cheat where you're not supposed to. But I would prefer somebody, let's say I have a legal team, they can have a legal brief written by ChatGPT in 10 minutes, and with their professional knowledge, go through it and say this is sufficient and save me 10 hours of billable hours. I want that person over the person who is equally skilled but took 10 hours and cost me thousands of dollars. And so look at technology however you want, but I think it's good for all of us to embrace it for efficiency, and it's not going to go away, and it can hurt you in the workplace if you're not at least familiar with technology.
Thank you so much. So ChatGPT is good. Right, so Mr. Martin.
Yeah, thank you. And just off the back of what he said, I had a boss once who told me in a presentation, I know you're prepared, you have your slides, so switch off the projector and tell me what is in those slides in 3 minutes. So you also need to be prepared and know your stuff, not just have it on paper. So I'll take 2 questions. There was a question around ACCA and scholarships. So we take very seriously the affordability of the qualification. And there are many things that we've done around that, including having negotiated lower rates for students in Kenya. So you'll find some of the items that you pay for in the qualification are actually much discounted compared to what other students in other countries pay. With regard to sponsorships directly or scholarships, yes, we do have a global scholarship program, which is called the Simpson Scholarship. There are a few requirements you need to meet, one of which is you need to be already in the qualification and having done some exams and being a top performer or showing some excellent performance, and then you can apply for that. But it's a global scholarship, so it's very competitive. Number 2, we work with approved learning partners. So we have colleges and universities that teach the ACCA qualification, and sometimes they may extend scholarship opportunities depending on if they would like to do that. So some of our colleges do sponsor students for revision or for classes. So that's also another avenue, much as it's not coming directly from ACCA, but our partners also extend those opportunities. There was a question from Anila around proficiency and other short courses that if we provide any of those. So the answer to that is all these skills that we want our members to get are embedded in the ACCA qualification, okay? So we haven't split it in terms of project management and these courses that you can get certified for. We have embedded all that so that by the time you're an ACCA member, having completed 13 exams and 3 years of experience and the ethics module, then you'll be an all-rounded professional. However, for members who are already in the industry, we do have some certification courses to bring them up to speed with any changes in the knowledge or the industry, but that's mostly relevant for members who are already at work, more than students who are trying to get into the ACCA qualification. But I think if you wanted any specific qualifications in terms of project management or strategy, he's mentioned about PMP, there's a Project Management Institute. There is so much. You will not miss a proficiency course if you like one. So in terms of my parting shot, 2 things. Number one, we have talked about a lot of good things and things you need to do, but only one thing makes a difference. You must put in the work. You must put in the work. It's not enough to just have the information. If it's the courses, you have to invest financially and pay for them. You have to invest your time and spend long hours preparing for those exams. You have to invest emotionally and risk being heartbroken because you failed an exam once or twice or 3 times. You have to put in the work. That's what makes a difference. Secondly, you need, and alluding to the gentleman who asked about the how, one of the how is to approach things differently. Walk up to these recruiting or hiring managers here and don't tell them about your papers and what you've done and trying to justify that they need to give you a job, but talk to them about what you know about the organization and you know that they're struggling with something and you have tried a solution that has worked somewhere that you think would work for them. So if you convince them on that, then I think you will have changed the game for yourself, okay? So approach things differently, put in the work, believe in yourself, and just do everything else that we've said here. Thank you.
Thank you. Believe in yourself and do everything that we have said here. Round of applause for Martin. Mr. Matthew.
Okay, so I had 2 questions. One from the lady who has done microbiology. She was asking about a certification. Now, for the universities, even here, we have what we call ICT academies, where you are given trainings on the certification, on the products that we have at Huawei related to certifications that you need to do. So those ones are free. And then for this, the exam, there's a percentage for students. It's discounted for students. But for people from external, they pay, I don't know, around $200. So I'll need to confirm on the amount, but for students, you have a very big discount on the exam. For training, you'll get that for free, so at the university. Okay, I hope your question is answered. Now, for social scientists, for us at Huawei, there are services that we outsource. Otherwise, we would employ everyone in the company. So there are services that we look for other companies to help us with. For health, we have some companies to help us talk to the staff, do tests and all that. Otherwise, you would have doctors in the company. Also for, let's say, security or that. So we cannot have everyone employed at Huawei as a Huawei staff because there are services that we just need them for. Not always. Just once in a while we require this service, so we look for this particular company. So that's what happens at Huawei. Hope your question has been answered. Thank you. And parting shots, you have to push yourself. No one is going to do it for you. This is just as simple as that. You have to always push yourself. Whether you are going to get a proficiency certifications, whether you want looking for a job, whether you are doing anything, no one is going to push you. You are going to push yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so much. A round of applause.
So for me, I'll answer the question by the gentleman. Remind me your name? So I'll answer your question and also give a parting shot. So how do you stand out in the crowd? Let's assume all of us have the same degree. How do you stand out for an employer like Unilever? One of the things that I will not belabor the points that my fellow panelists have made, but one of the things that really stands out is not the hard skills, like Gilbert mentioned, but soft skills. So leadership is really important. And an aspect of leadership that a lot of university students get wrong is self-leadership. Self-leadership is how do you show up on social media. So I'll give an example. I get a lot of queries from students. Hi, Madam Angela, I want a job. Can you give me a job? Already, with that kind of communication and how you're carrying yourself, I've automatically disqualified you. Whether I had an opportunity or not, I will give you a coaching moment and let you know this is how you approach such situations in future. You don't approach employers with, for lack of a better word, demanding attitude. So the hard skills you're already getting here. What I'd really want to emphasize on is on the soft skills, leadership. How do you show up in school? How do you talk to other people? How respectful are you? How are you carrying yourself? From a personal branding point of view, do you know how to share your ideas, right? Do you know how to communicate, not just to your peers, but also to leaders? Right? So then that ties into an element that, again, students get wrong, emotional intelligence. If things do not go your way, do you throw a tantrum? Do you know the first impression, if I see you make a wrong first impression, do you know it's very hard to regain trust if you sort of don't make a really good first impression. So I'd really encourage the students here, how you speak on social media, how you show up, how you carry yourself, the kind of questions that you ask, all of these things matter. And there are so many courses, particularly on LinkedIn, free. Even Coursera, whatever learning platform that you use, particularly here, go and do a course called Mastering Self-Leadership, because those skills is what we will see when we are interviewing you, right? So self-leadership is important. If anything that you take, and then that brings me to my parting shot, understand the power of self-leadership. There are so many facets. It's an entire course. I will not get into the actual elements, but just understand the power that it has on your career, because you'll find you might graduate here with a first class, somebody else graduates maybe with a second lower, but this person has more self-leadership, has put in the work, they will get employed, and this first class person is still tamarking. So this degree is okay, but please learn self-leadership and how you show up. That would be my parting shot.
Learn self-leadership and how you show up. A round of applause for Ms. Angela Mutuku. And finally, Ms. Defense.
So thank you so much. I'll address two questions, and one is also how do you stand out, and also the strategies that you can use to position yourself for opportunities. And one thing I would love to encourage the students is that make sure you know first how to translate the skills that you have on paper, because it all starts with how you submit your curriculum or resume. It has to pass through a system. And if you have not displayed the skills, be it soft skills or technical skills that you have on paper and the ones that are required by the employer on that CV, then you stand to miss out that opportunity. And one software that we really, or a tool that we encourage young people to use in terms of streamlining their curriculum, their CVs or their resumes to pass through at the first step of job application is known as JobScan. JobScan is a free software where you can go upload your CV, write some of the skills that have been highlighted, and you believe you have those skills. You believe you're good at what has been advertised in that job. Highlight them on your CV. Put it on the JobScan platform. Let it highlight for you or recommend for you some of the skills that you have not highlighted that are required and you feel like are skills that you can take, be it technical, be it software. So JobScan is a very important platform to pass you through the first step before meeting the interviewer. The other question I'd love to address is the social sciences, social science question. I want to encourage that lady that there is a demand. And why we say this because in Ajira Digital Program, which is a national program, currently we are looking for psychologists to come on board and support online workers. Because they work in isolation, we want them to receive counseling and support and how to work in a community or how to work in teams. And so I would love to say that in each and every program, and all these people, all the panelists here, everyone here, they need some level of counseling, coaching. They need the social sciences people who are sitting here to support them in terms of our mindset and our mental health. And mental health being one of the topics that in today's generation is really being addressed. Social sciences stand out to support that particular field in that area. The other thing I want to address is on gender and inclusivity, inclusion and diversity. This is an area or a field that each and every organization is looking to ensure that they either have 70%, 50% of gender inclusion, and as well as 10% of persons with disability in their organization. So you stand a chance, the lady who's doing gender, you stand a chance to come on board and support us in terms of strategies to make sure that we have included women into our programs, or we have hired enough women and empowered enough women in the community. You also stand a chance of giving us strategies to bring or to support or to set out layouts to accommodate persons with disability into the different organizations as well as into the programs that we have. So for my parting shot, what I want to encourage the students is that online work is work. You know, that's the Ajira Digital program campaign. We encourage students to explore opportunity when it comes to online opportunities and the online work platforms.
Thank you so much. A round of applause for our panelists. We really appreciate whatever you have done, just taking your time to be part of this panel. We do not take it for granted. So, Mr. Defense, Ms. Defense, we say that continue with the Ajira program. It is something that we love and we want to continue with. Angela, we are saying continue hiring our students. I personally know students who graduated with me last year and are working in Unilever. Please come back and take more. Matthew, we want our students to also go to Morocco and all those countries. Continue with the Huawei global competitions and please come back for more students. Mr. Martin, whenever you get those ACCA sponsorships, please bring them over and give them to our students. We really appreciate that help. And Mr. Gilbert, we appreciate, I know you have a very tight schedule, but you took your time to be here today. Tunasema asante. Mr. Geoffrey, I'm still part of Techno. We'll work together to make sure that the opportunities come back to our students. And to the students, thank you so much for being here till this time, taking your time, listening, and being here. There's something that Chinua Achebe says in his book, Things Fall Apart. He says that since the hunters have learned to shoot without missing, Eneke the bird has learned to fly without perching. Everything is changing. The career and the workforce landscape is changing. Let us not remain stagnant. Let us learn to adapt. Let us see what is it that we need to do so that we can fit in the 21st century careers. Thank you so much. My name is Peter Nguka, and it has been such a delightful experience being your moderator today. Asanteni sana.
I think these ones deserve a special round of applause. We can do a different one. We can do some drum rolls for them. You just pat on your seats, isn't it? Let's do a tries-X. Some drum rolls. So this is how we do it. As I lift my hand, that's how you increase the intensity, isn't it? Let's give them some drum rolls. Thank you so much. I'd like to invite the department head in charge of career services, Naomi. This is the University of Nairobi, and she has some goodies for you. Karibu sana, Naomi.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am so happy that you have sat through this session. So firstly, I want to thank our panelists. Haven't they done a very great job? Have they? They have. And our moderator, Nguka, has done an excellent job. Let's clap for him. So we highly appreciate having you here today, and we look forward to continue partnering with you as we prepare our students for the job market. So I want to hand over a few gifts to our panelists. I will invite Esther Nekesa from Corporate Affairs to support me in this, and then we'll have a quick vote of thanks, and we'll let you go. We will go through the back. We will give you instructions so that you get something for your lunch. So we begin with,
So we begin with the Senior Human Resource Specialist from Techno, Mr. Geoffrey Maina. Let's clap for him. Next, we'll have Mr. Gilbert Bonsu, the Executive Officer, USAID, Kenya and East Africa. Let's clap for him. Next, we'll have Mr. Martin Muebia, Education Support Manager, ACCA, which stands for Association of Certified Chartered Accountants. Then next, we have Mr. Matthew Kipto, Kenya Human Resource Department, Southern Africa Region, Huawei Technologies, Kenya. And then next, we will have Ms. Angela Mutuku, People Partner, Supply Chain and Talent Learning and Organization, lead at Unilever East Africa. Then we will have Defense Murunde, Virtual Learning and Community Engagement Manager, Immobiles Technology Training Institute. Thank you so much, Naomi. Let's celebrate them. Because we'll need a group photo for all of them, so I'll invite Naomi together with the colleague, with the moderator here at the front. Do they have it as they're seated or as they're standing, please? Mark the faces, you can follow them after this. They have said they have job opportunities, so they'll be around here. Your next boss could be here. So thank you so much, we appreciate you. These students are expectant. So at this particular point, we will have our refreshments being served at the back door, but I will invite Alila Esther, who is going to give us a vote of thanks. But meanwhile, all of you will be served your refreshments from that particular exit. We are using this particular ally only, not this particular one. So we will line up here as we get the refreshment. Karibu sana, Esther, so that you give us the vote of thanks. Yes, at the podium. And then we will have a concluding prayer. Remember, this continues tomorrow. Tomorrow we will have a shorter session. Then we also do finally the exhibitions on Friday. Please show up, come with your CVs, and after this, please visit the exhibitions so that you're able to drop your CVs. And you might be the lucky employee. You see your bosses here, so please do that. Karibu sana, Esther, for the vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, Bwana MC, for that. My name is Alila Esther. Mine is a quick round of thanks for this event that has been organized, especially to our panelists. Thank you so much, George Maina, for your passion for mentorship and for the nuggets of wisdom. And to you, Mr. Gilbert, I love your passion for technology and your knack for interpersonal skills. That is amazing. I think it's an interesting thing I would wish to look at. Thank you so much also, Mr. Martin. I cannot see him here. For ensuring quality, in the entrepreneurial world and even for the world of education, ensuring that the quality and the work is put in. And thank you so much also, Mr. Matthew. Your passion for sports is quite commendable. I noticed that in your company, you have allocated something in line with your passion for it. You're developing that sector. I'm so grateful. And also your knack for a foreign language, Chinese. I hear you're proficient in Chinese, thanks to the Confucius Institute. We were here last week also. It's a good thing to enroll. I think I should enroll in Chinese. Anyway, thank you so much, Angela Mutuku. It is nice to see a Gen Z seated on such a big panel. Yeah, it is one commendable job. Thank you so much for representing us well, and also for the diversity. Again, to Madam Mwende, thank you for bringing a little bit more light concerning Ajira. Yeah, it is there. We have heard a lot about it, but not so many have taken it up, and not so many feel encouraged to go on this platform altogether. But thank you so much for shedding light on it, and also for the inclusivity that you've brought about. Yeah, and to our moderator, Peter. Thank you so much. That was such a good job for bringing the intent thought, and directing and bring out the best of their thoughts, of the panelists. We have picked much and the most out of it. And also to Bwana MC, thank you for making this event a lively and lovely one. In absentia also to our sign language interpreters. They were here a little bit early. And the students that spoke also in sign, thank you so much for joining us today. A big thank you also to the Careers Office, Madam Naomi, and also Mr. Kinywa. Yes, thank you for organizing such an event. And also to the media team that have been up to task in covering this event. I'm so grateful. And also to the Office of the VC. And last but not least, and most importantly, the students, fellow comrades who took their time to sit here and give a keen and listening ear, though green and fresh, but ready to learn. Is that not it? Thank you so much. And most of all, to the Almighty God for such a day and a beautiful weather despite the rain. Thank you so much for today. My name is Alila Esther.
Thank you. So articulate and very brief. So tomorrow from 10:30 to 12:30, we also meet here for another panel. We'll have Central Careers, McKinsey and Company, Nestle, acquisition at Impact Africa, and then we have Teach for Kenya, Access Bank. The reason why I'm mentioning that, these are also employers. Besides this, we'll have them also recruiting. Please show up, come with your CV, and bring along your friends. At this particular point, a short prayer, then we partake of the refreshments. Let's believe. Lord, we are grateful for a successful day. As we proceed, be with us. In your name we pray. Amen.
UNC TV, empowering you.